everyone. Dave Robinson here, and yes, I am on the mic. Today, I want to talk a little bit about what's happening right now in our state, as well as what I'm doing. I wanted to do a live stream on yesterday, and I had a lot of issues. I may have some issues as well. I haven't done live stream in a while. Run on the campaign trail, it takes a lot of time, a lot of efforts. And because of that, a lot of times, I don't get to do the test runs of my system, make sure my internet is working properly, those type things. And so I had some issues yesterday for those who was watching and followed me on yesterday. I want to appreciate again for you just taking the time out to even come and watch what I was doing on the live stream. But I'm not gonna keep everyone long. This is gonna be recorded as well. So for those who want to look at this a little later, you can do that a little later. I will have it posted on the Instagram, my Facebook page. That's my personal page as well as my campaign page. I will put a little version of that on there. Maybe on the Twitter. And so you can check out the Twitter. But definitely want to talk about what's happening right now. And I wanted to jump right into it. I have a virtual town hall that I do every Friday, and it's a bipartisan town hall. And this week I have to tell you that I want to get this town hall done. But what's happening this week is I have this week here I scheduled the town hall. It's every Friday at 6:00 p.m. It's a bipartisan town hall. That means that it doesn't matter what party you are. Democrat, Republican, Independent, non-voter. Of course, that's who I want to be part of this. The virtual town hall. We have a current Congressman, Joe Wilson, who is the congressman currently, but he doesn't do town halls. He don't do town halls for his own voters, for his constituents. So I have to do what I plan to do now. You know what I'm saying? In other words, I'm not waiting till I get elected before I start this town hall, because this is something I'm going to be doing once I get into U.S. Congress. I still will continue to have these virtual town halls. I will have in-person town halls. I have other things I'm going to show up for the constituents, because that's the only way you can actually represent people, is to know exactly what their needs are and let them yell at you a little bit and know their concerns and things like that. So that's the reason why I'm doing the town hall. So I can't speak for Joe Wilson again. But that's what this town hall is for. I'm inviting them to do the virtual with me. I did an in-person town hall last year that I paid a lot of money for, even accommodated Joe Wilson. He didn't show up. His chair was empty, and then also I even stepped in two of his town halls that was scheduled for him. They luckily asked me to fill in the spot for him because he didn't show up again. So again, I don't shy away from town hall. So today, again, every Friday, 6 p.m. town hall, virtual town hall. I mean, you can join in where you're located, but I can tell you I will not be able to do it this evening, and I'm going to show you why. I have to reschedule. So when you go on the website to do the town hall, you'll see that I'll reschedule it for next Friday. So we're going to have to play it along with that to see what's going on with this redistricting of the maps, as well as the upcoming primary. And so that's pushing me really, really tight on schedule, because I'm having speaking engagements that's showing up. So this week, like I said, it'll be moved. So this town hall definitely is for those who live in Aiken County, Barnwell County, Lexington County, the west half of Orangeburg County, and of course Richland County. So and also those who may not even be in the state you're interested in talking to a future congressman, because I'm taking this in faith that I will win this election. I will be your next congressman for the state of South Carolina Congressional District 2, but also U.S. Congress for the country to craft legislation. As you already know, I wrote my first bill, and I'm not even elected yet, to help millions of Americans. We have 600,000 Americans go missing. So this bill will help with us to kind of slow those numbers down of missing American cases. I have 3 more bills that I'm working on. From what I'm hearing, Representative Joe Wilson renamed a post office or something. They say one of the significant bills that he have written. The bill I have written, like I say, I'm not even elected yet, will help 600,000 Americans that go missing every year in our country. The families of those that go missing. My son is still currently missing, geologist Daniel Robinson. So you guys know I'm pushing really hard for legislation to help ease that and find answers. So Also, I have a new bill that's coming up. They're dealing with a lot of things. So you guys will see that on the website. Again, let me go ahead and, matter of fact, let me put the website up really quick because that's what I want to jump on when it comes to talk about a little bit so you guys can understand. You go to DaveRossForCongress.com. Let me see if I can add this to the screen. If I can get this button. Like I told you before, y'all, I may have some little technical difficulties here because I haven't done this live stream in a while. And let's see here if I get everything working the way it needs to be working. Let me move this first, and then I go here and put in the town hall, the website. DaveRossForCongress.com. You go to DaveRossForCongress.com, and when you go on the screen here, first of all, I just want to show you real quick. This is the events button. So to join in a town hall, you just go on the events button here, and once you get the event button here, it'll take you to the next screen to register for the town hall. So we go on that screen there. You just go and down here on the middle of the button. Things loading up really slow here, y'all. And once you get here, you'll see here on where you can register if it loads up for me. Moving kind of slow, but in the meantime, yes, you go register on this page here. It's the button here for your registration here. And again, like it would have been today at 6 p.m., you'll see this change. It's going to still have the same time, but when you push the registration button, it will take you to the next page. Here, it'll have all the information where you can actually register. And I don't know why everything's moving really slow for me right now, but you can register right here, and information here for you to actually register to get on the town hall, where you can actually join me on screen, or you can just just have a communication through the comment section and things like that. But you definitely have to register, and all the rules to this the whole town hall is to be respectful to everyone, again, because this is a bipartisan town hall. That means that everyone is invited to join. And I wanted you also to be able to scroll down a little bit, and you'll see all the events that I'm attending. These are past events, so this is going to change today as well to reflect some of the ones that's happening currently. I do have the May 16th prayer, the breakfast meeting that I'll be going to. But some of these has already passed, and there's some things that I have already done. But you'll see some of the ones that, for instance, the one this evening, you'll see that reflected, as well as some of the ones that's coming up before June 9th, the primary date. So you want to find out what I'm doing here. You want to be a part. It'll be right here on the plan section there. So again, I just want to say thank you, everyone who's been supporting this campaign and supporting everything I have been doing so far. I truly appreciate each and every last one of you. It's very important for me to continue this work. But yes, really quick here, I want to get one more thing in before I jump off of this live stream. And I've been trying to do this live stream every day for as much as I can. Whether I'm out in the streets, here, I've tried to do some type of live stream. Well, a few live streams, because I had to do one for the campaign, and also I had to do one for my son. Please help find Daniel. And I will be doing some more live streams for that, talking about my son's case and what I'm currently doing. Still, again, Danny Robinson laws go on both sides. It's the, of course, for my son's side of things, and also my congressional run, that side of things. So really quick, I will be going to the Soda City Dems event tonight, and so that's the reason why I'm rescheduling the virtual town hall, is because this came up. It would be almost like a congressional district. Candidates will be talking about our campaign, what we're running for, things that we're running for, and almost like a debate, but not really quite. I just did a debate, so you all see that pictures come up. I didn't put the pictures up on social media yet. I did my first debate, and I think it went really well. But definitely will be having this event tonight. So you want to get registered, go to Mobilize and look up this Soda City Dems, and you can register, and you can be a part tonight, and hear from the candidates. I'll be one of the candidates speaking, and hear from us, and see our vision for the state, and also, in my opinion, for the country. Last thing I want to talk about really quick is some of the issue that we are facing right now in our state, and we cannot shy away from that. But that's the redistricting map. For those who are confused about what's going on with the redistricting, this is the current map, is what we have here for South Carolina, and this is what they're proposing. If you can look at some of the things that is happening right now, When it comes to redistricting, you can understand where I'm coming from when it's it's a bit changed. It's a bit changed, and I think the way that I can actually help everyone see that those bit changes is, let me see if I can get this on a bigger map for everyone to be able to see this. Let me see here. Uh, because if you see what I'm talking about, you can understand that. I'm trying to see if I can get this map up a little bigger, but you see Congressional District 2. You probably can see the number 2 there. That is for South Carolina Congressional District 2, and that mapping. Let me see if I can go ahead. Let me put the current map up. Matter of fact, let me just do the current map so you all can see, and I can kind of point it out for you. It's a little easier to do it that way. If you can see here, let me see if I can get this on. Uh-oh, I'm missing one thing. Okay, there we go. All right, if you can see this right here, the redistricting map. This is currently what South Carolina. This is my district I'm running for. It runs all over down here to this area called Aiken, South Carolina, North Augusta area, because Georgia is on this area here. But it runs down here to Aiken, Augusta, North Augusta, that is, North Augusta, and also Barnwell County down in this area. But I live right here in Richland County. So let me see if I can make this map a little bigger so everyone can see this. I live in Richland County here, but you see how this Congressional District 2 wraps around Richland County. This map been drawn before by the Republicans, and it was to grab power. So that's the reason why you see it kind of hug around, like it's actually hugging around Richland County, because it's grabbing certain areas that would vote mostly Republican, you could say, I guess. And then Clyburn, Representative Clyburn, is right here in Congressional District 6, and it kind of grows in there, and it gets the neighborhoods in Richland County that's of people of color, right? So you can see how this is on a district that's a Democratic district, number 6. The rest, everything you see out here is all Republican, right? But what they want to do now is change this whole mapping from that to, let me see if I can get the other map up real quick here. I thought I can pull it up and see. Maybe I can put it down first and put this up. But anyway, this is second map. This is what they're proposing. So they want to change it up and take all or most of all of Richland County and then eliminate Clyburn's district, right? And then push Congressional District 1, change that to be Congressional District 6, 7, and so because we have 7 districts here. But what I'm saying is this was Aiken County, still got North Carolina, but that kind of brings Joe Wilson, the one I'm running for, it'll bring that all the way down here in some of these areas that normally would have been under James Clyburn. So we got Orangeburg as well, most all of Orangeburg, even further, because a lot of this was Clyburn district as well. And so that way they're trying to grab more power and trying to dilute the vote, because a lot of these areas, especially Orangeburg, is people of color is very highly populated density. There's a lot in Richland County. And I'm just speaking of Congressional District 2. There's a lot of other things going on in this areas as well. With Congressional District 1, they changed up here to eliminate Clyburn. And so they're weakening the vote of those areas. All this area would have been mostly those who mainly vote Democrat. So to kind of change the dynamics and things like that. So that's what we're dealing with right here in South Carolina. Is very how I want to say, for me personally, I feel like it's very troubling, because I don't like the fact that we have let me see if I can get myself on the screen now. I don't like the fact that we have a person who's out of the state. If I can get myself on the screen, you guys bear with me for a second here. Someone who's out of the state. We know we're talking about the president of the United States, putting his thumb out and calling someone and say, hey, you need to do this for me. And the issue I have is that I don't look at life as well. That's why I say I have a bipartisan town hall, for instance. I don't look at running for office or representing the people the way these people are representing people, right? And it's a problem to me, because the way I look at representation, it has nothing to do with your party. I mean, parties just have something to do with your values. I have certain values and things that align with Democrats. That's why I'm a Democrat. I'm sure people do that when they have things that align with being a Republican. As a Republican, an independent, everybody have their own different values. But I'm sure they don't go with every detail of everything that's been said. And this, you have these values, but you kind of weigh out what your values are and where you stand on the values. But when it comes to representations, it has nothing to do with your party, nothing at all. It's like when you listen to the people that you say you're representing, you see what the needs are, and then you fight for those interests, right? But then you got someone who's never been in your state, don't care about your state. Only thing they care about is winning, so they probably can go for a third term. Whatever the case may be, do things that's outside. I mean, the way I understand it, uh, I'm not the only person. I'm not the only person who's who could be in office that can do a great job. I'm just saying. And so I'm saying for right now, I'm doing the job I want to do and fight for it. But once my time is up, my time is up. I'm sure somebody else can come in and do something similar or even better. That's just the way life is. And so what I'm saying is, just to see that's happening in our state, it's really annoying. It's really costly just to run for office. A person like me who decided to run for good reasons, and that is to, again, the bill that I wrote, Daniel Robinson Law, that to help thousands of Americans that go missing. The other three bills actually that I'm working on now is going to help South Carolinians as well as those who are in this country. It's a bill that I've been working on that I was hoping I can get it done before the primaries, but I'm going to be introducing that pretty soon. I talked to a congresswoman about it, and hopefully I can get this introduced and start sharing it with the public. So one other bill. So I'm saying actually doing the work. I'm doing the work now. But what I'm saying is, it's just the fact that when you come to try to represent someone in your state, but you got someone else, impeding on that because they have different interests. The reason why they want to do certain things, ask the state to do something that's outside of what the people want. If you do a poll here in South Carolina, and we talk about those maps and things like that, people, we don't want that. We don't want that. And if it is, we need to do something bipartisan and working together to create something that everyone can agree on. It shouldn't be based on one person's idea because they have their own agenda that's outside the interest of the people in the district, right, or in our state. So I wish I could fight against it other than protesting and talking, but that's what's the tool I have for right now. But once I get in U.S. Congress, things like that, yeah, we got to push back up against that. We got to have people who actually can push up against craziness. Like I call it craziness. Sometimes you have to be careful what you ask for because I really believe that changing this map will actually help get more seats. You ask for one thing and you end up getting something else. So especially when you're not doing it in the best interest of everyone, you're just doing it on the interest of one person. Again, I don't represent a person, party. I represent the people, and that's what my goal is, to represent everyone in my district, not just my parties. I'm not going that way. So anyway, I just wanted to say, yeah, today I will be doing the rescheduling of the virtual town hall. So you all will see the change on that. It goes next Friday. It won't be this today at 6 p.m. Like I normally would do every week. I had to reschedule before because the same thing, something to come up. I think this event is very, very important. The town hall is very important. At the same time, I am running for U.S. Congress, and we have other candidates that we'll be talking. It would be great if I didn't show up in my own debate with the other candidates, and so I'll have to reschedule. That kind of take priority right now because of the campaign, and it takes priority because June 9th coming up. Also, the fact that we don't know what they're doing right now. McMaster, our governor, decided to call the House and Senate, I guess, back into a session and to do this mapping. So the mapping, according to Senator Devine, who was speaking on yesterday, it's going to happen. For those who kind of question if it's going to happen or not, it's going to happen. From her opinion, and it's just that what it's going to look like is what the issue is. What I was hearing is another map other than what I just showed you that's floated around with their ideas, because we have some pushback from some mayors and things like that from some of the counties that would be affected by the redistricting of the map. I say gerrymandering of the map, and so people would be affected by that, and so it's a lot of pushback. So hopefully that pushback can be another issue for the whole mapping redoing. But the problem we have as well is for y'all to know, people like myself who ran for office. That's what I was going at before I kind of went off. Is that people like myself, we're not the attorneys. Don't y'all get tired of all these attorneys running for office? They're building their portfolio and they're build up on their law firm, and then you ever knows them lawyers end up making a career out of being a congressman or congresswoman, senator, or stuff like that, and then they think they own the seat and they doing these special favors. And you ever notice that the policies that they create never fits you? Said is always in their tax bracket or something. So yeah. So what I'm saying, I'm not talking about everyone who's actually running for office who's happen to be a lawyer or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, you ever notice that the more lawyers you have in these running for the office, the less representation you actually get out of it. Yeah, I've noticed that for a long time now. If you want to Google it and you check it out, the more educated when it comes to those who's running for office, the less policies are made and created for people like everyday Americans, our entrepreneurs, our middle working class, things like that. So we'll never get what you want if you keep putting the same type people in office. It don't take to be a lawyer to write legislation and all that stuff, because you got to understand how this works. Person write legislation like I did. I'm not an attorney or anything. Wrote legislation. They still have to go through the ways and go through the committees and things like that. But then they have a constitutional lawyer who's actually a constitutional lawyer, because you could be a bankruptcy lawyer, or you could be a some other type lawyer. I call it ambulance chaser or something. That don't mean that you know anything about constitutional law. So you have to have an attorney who actually does constitutional law, which is not running for office. And so you have that on the payroll. So you write the bill that you want. You work on that bill. That bill gonna end up going to get looked at by to see if it's even constitutional, and then from there go through these little processes. So I'm saying is everyone who's running for office is not actually they can write the bill, but they're not actually they have to go through a process. Is what I'm saying. So you have special attorneys for that. So in other words, those attorneys are hiring attorneys to look at the bill before it can get passed and all that kind of stuff. So for people to understand, you don't have to have a law degree or anything like that to run for U.S. Congress, or even to be a president of the United States. A person at McDonald's who don't have any college education can run for office. And so what I'm saying, to get to the point I'm making, is what they're doing with this mapping is that a lot of candidates is running really good people who are going to look out for the interests of everyone in our country. Look out. I mean, I just met some people on the campaign trail, and one of the things that would keep them from being able to be heard by you guys, or even known that they was even running in the first place, is the cost. And that's another bill that I'm trying to figure out a way to work on when it comes to our parties. When I say parties, I mean Republican, Democrat, Independent, Republican, Democrat, with the two-party system, is the cost. It's one of the things that we have, for instance, what I had learned since I've been running is that to even get your name on the ballot, that's $3,480. The average American do not have $3,480 to throw just to get your name on a ballot, right? And if you can't get your name on the ballot that way because you just can't afford it, you work at McDonald's making minimum wage, whatever they make, and you just can't afford to get that money up, you're a great person, you're going to change some stuff, and you got good ideas, but you just can't come up with that money. They give you another, oh, well, we can give you 10,000 signatures. And that's going to be hard to come at. So essentially what's happening is they kind of pick the people they want to continue to run for office that don't necessarily matches your interest, right? Because then, you make it hard for anybody, because the Constitution is written way that everyone, if you're a nationally born citizen here in the United States or naturalized, after a certain length of time, you can anybody can run for Congress. Anybody can run for to be a president of the United States. So what happened when we have gotten to a point where it actually costs so much money? If I would have ran for senator instead of the House, I would have had to pay $12,000 just to get my name on the ballot, right? And so you ask those questions of why is that? Why is that? Why is that? You're paying for the name, you're paying for the branding, you're paying for, and so that's not the way I think our electorate, people who say, hey, they want somebody to represent me, that should go. So I'm trying to find ways to uh, to fix that. So I mean, I don't know, people not thinking that's popular. When I say people within parties, I don't think that's popular for to hear. But I'm a person who care. I mean, I really care about what's happening in our country and why things are the way it is, and try to find solutions to change that. Right. And so that's one thing I think about. Anyone who has really want to change some things and really want to do the right thing should be able to run. And now a lot of times it's the people who's being affected. And they say, hey, look, the cost of living is high. I can't even keep a savings account. I got these bills coming all through my nose. You know what? These people, these politicians we've been looking up to and been believing. They come on the campaign trail, they tell you all this great thing. They dress nice, have these tight suits on and these nice ties and clothes, and they tell you all these great things. But once they get in office, you don't see them no more. Nothing have ever changed in your life, and you just fed up. And I want to run for office, but I can't afford the $12,000. I can't afford the $3,000 to get my name on this ballot. Then I got to run as an independent, even though I might be a Democrat or a Republican. I got to run as an independent. And then we know what happens more with the independent candidates, right? So again, I think about those things, and those things really is a problem that need to be solved at the baseline. I always believe that to solve any problem, you got to start at the beginning and the source. We talk about the great things, the people who's like President Trump right now. We talk about those who are already in office, and and we'll say, oh, they're not doing this. We got to start looking at sometimes we got to go back and look at the where it all starts at too, to got to this point where they're at right now, right? And so that's the way I look at solutions, to try to look at the foundation of that problem and get it at the root, and then try to fix it from the root, and get it going up the other direction, because it's already there. It's almost like you see the root above a weed above the ground. The weed is already there. You know, say, and you can go cut the grass and cut the root. Say, hey, I'm gonna vote up, but cut that grass and get get rid of that weed, but the roots are still in the ground, right? And it's gonna spring back up, right? So you got to go and fix that, get that root out of there, and the problem. And so that's the way I like to approach, the way I like to craft legislation, hopefully to create new ideas, is to get it from the root, and get it fixed the correct way, get the foundation set, reset that foundation that will give the country what really should be happening right now in our country. So we already know the oligarchs are running the country. We see that. I heard the president of the United States say he didn't care about the situation that we're going through, the economic stresses, in other words, and I'm paraphrasing the sense of what's happening in our country with the rising costs. He's concerned just about the war in Iran. I get it. We don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. At the same time, you should be able to, being the president of the United States, be able to chew gum and do that at the same time. And so, meaning that, yeah, your decision making has to be the welfare of those who you represent. And you don't just, and again, even if the president of the United States is the top of the ticket, you cannot represent just your people in your party. You cannot try to squeeze down the people who don't vote like you, don't vote for you. You're the president of the United States for everyone in the country. Like when I win in November, the primary, and then November, I'm not the congressional representative for Democrats or those who voted for me and got me in there, right? I'm the congressman for everyone in my district. I mean, everyone, even the Republicans that don't like me, say, hey, they don't like me only because I say I'm a Democrat, because I run into that in the street as well. I mean, no, I heard someone told me in the chat said, I think he said, I'm going to take their guns away or something, bringing that thing up. And I said, you know what? Did you ask me? No, they say I didn't like guns. That's what it was. And I said, did you ask me? Did you ask me, do I like guns? You going by whatever you hear in the wind that somebody in your party told you, and paint everybody with a one brush or something like that. And you didn't come to my town halls, or you didn't hear from me or ask me the hard question, what I think, and what my values really mean, and things like that. You didn't ask me that. You just went off and say, hey, you're a Democrat, so you're this, and then give the thought to even hear what I have to say. So again, what I'm saying is, I kind of want to make sure that we're actually, doing this thing the right way. So again, I've been trying to do some more lives. I've been trying to do lives every morning. I'm gonna try to do some lives in the evening, all the way up to the primary. So y'all want to come back and listen to David on the mic, I will be doing that. I'll be talking about, just everything. It's not just a one set thing. I'll be talking about some things when it comes to my son too, because that's very important. You guys know what got me to run for U.S. Congress in the first place is the tragedy of what happened to my son. A lot of people run for office for different reasons. I can't tell you, I just got tired of Joe Wilson for years. I've been complaining and fussing about what he haven't been doing for our state and our country, and he's always talking about foreign affairs and always taking care of somebody else's country, but he never talk about what happened here. And I'm telling you, I cannot stand Joe Wilson, and he might be a nice guy. He probably was very great when he first got elected way back, 25 years ago. And he probably had some good solutions and ideas and things like that. I'm not knocking anybody's service, so thank him for his service. The thing I have the problem with is, first of all, you're ineffective, and also he's a parrot. He's a parrot. If you listen to Joe Wilson, anytime you say, oh, President Trump said this and that, like, what you saying? I want to hear what he got to say. I want to hear what he cares, what he got to do for our state. You talk about foreign affairs. Oh, I'm doing this foreign, and peace through strength and blah, 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 and so on, all the stuff. Like, what are you doing for your district? Why we got potholes all over the place? Why our power lines are not bare? Why there's no hospital in Barnwell County in your district? Why is the infrastructure is all torn up? Why these farmers are having a hard time because they don't have new innovative solutions to growing better crop or taking care of their cattle or whatever the case may be? Why all these things are failing? Why you don't come to your town halls? Where are you? Why you're vacated? Why your seats is always empty? So it's kind of those things like that that are that make me sick, right? And it wasn't for what happened with my son to get me out of that just talking about it zone, because I'm sure we all do it, talking about it, but then you get a push to say, you know what, I'm going to do something about it. And so what happened was, when my son's situation here, you can see that I decided to do something about it. This is a website, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can go to even help everything I'm doing right now, because it's a lot. And so what I'm getting to is, it caused me to say, hey, you know what? I got to come with a solution to all of this, and that's when I end up writing, Daniel Robinson Law to, and you can see right here, Daniel Robinson Law to bring some solution to the problem. So you guys can go here and read up on it a little bit. This is not the full version, but you can read up on it. Daniel Robinson Law, what it's all about, and on the page. So again, these are things I'm saying. These are things that are actually helpful for just not our state, but our entire country. You got to have a congressman that actually doing the work. I was talking about that at the we had a debate the other night with the other candidates that are running against me in the primaries. Those candidates come up there right now and they can tell you all the problems, because I'm telling you all the problems. Oh, I'm going to do this. I believe in fighting for our infrastructure, our economy. I'm a veteran. And then you got to start looking at your person that you want to be in office. Say, hey, what are you doing now? These are words. Words is anything. People have a lot of words. I have a lot of words, and we got to hear something from that person, so we kind of get an idea of how they look at that seat, or the reason why they're running and what they're tired of. But what I have said what distinguished me from them, the other guys that's running against me, is that I have lived, first of all, lived experiences. I'm not too old, I'm not too young. You know, for instance, I was a single parent. I know what a single mother is going through. I know what a single father is going through trying to raise his children and making those hard decisions to continue your dreams and aspirations. And then struggling trying to go to college and trying to pay college debt and try to keep yourself in school and try to juggle. But I know how it is about healthcare. You can't get insurance or you need healthcare insurance, and you're trying to take care. Your children get sick and things like that. To starting my own business. I've had a small business where I knew the difficult and the red tapes that when it comes to the SBA, the Small Business Administration, to get fair loan practices, to try to get those grants and stuff from the SBA. But I've been there trying to grow your business and how much it is with these taxes, with the fuel costs going up. Because I remember in 2004, when Bush was in office, I was living. I used to call it. We used to say the word ghetto fabulous. You could say, well, I was a thousandaire. I wasn't a millionaire, but I was a thousandaire, and so living pretty decent, taking care of your children, started my small business, and doing very well. And then President Bush came in and just tore that all up. And you're struggling again and struggling trying to make ends meet. And so I have been there with that, with struggling business, but then making that business successful to a point that I feel like it was doing very well. But then after 9/11, I ended up closing that business and joining the U.S. Army because I wanted to give this country something greater that I had. And that was my experience of driving trucks. Went out and joined the U.S. military as a truck driver. End up not driving trucks, but one time for the military, literally, and end up with a combat engineer unit. And there you go, being patriotic, fought for the country in Operation Endure Freedom, OEF soldier. So now I'm a disabled veteran. So I'm saying the distinguishing difference between myself and them is the live experience, the understanding what people are going through, the struggles. I'm not like President Trump, who's a billionaire. I never do get that point where we all somehow feel like a billionaire, really care about your interest. This man believed that you had to get ID just to go buy groceries. He never had to buy groceries a day in his life. Buy groceries. I mean, this crazy stuff that you hear don't have this totally out of touch what you actually living in real time. So of course, a person who have not have that lived experience cannot have a full empathy or care about what you're actually going through unless they've been through it themselves. I look into Jermaine Johnson, for instance. He's a gentleman that's running for governor here in our state. Listen to his story, live the experience, saying that kind of mold you and shape you to really caring about getting things done. And I think we kind of ignore that for the shiny, flashy person. The accolades, the titles, these kind of things that doesn't matter. It looks good on paper, but it doesn't matter because you already see what's happening with the current Congress we have, for instance. We'll call it the Do Nothing Congress. All these people here, all these law degrees and these names and titles can't even come up with Daniel Robinson law. I'm using this example, because they don't want to. They don't. I talk to some people in the background. They tell you some of them just it's like a club to them. They get to put the little pin on their shirt, and they're eating dinner in these nice places. This and that. You think they're really fighting for the American people? No, it's a title. It's a title. It's a something that make them feel good or something. I don't know. Build a portfolio, like I said about earlier. So we had to do something to really, get people and kind of look at things, look at the lived experience this person's going through, look at their the passion, and really understand to be, very wise in our choosing of who we want to be in our those political spots. Saying to represent us, because I'm telling you, a billionaire will never be able to represent a person who's in the working the middle class. And they'll say, oh yeah, he can, yeah, he haven't been there, so he can tell you how to keep a multi-million-dollar corporation business going because that's what they do, right? But when it comes to how to get out of this struggle that you're in, no, they do not. They have that lived experience of how they was able to, like myself, start a small business through the struggle how to get a mindset where you can find ways, even in a failing system that we had at the time. Like I said, when Bush came in and the cost of fuel went up, during the time that was $2 or something, that was high, and it went up and it was really hurting the small business, was hurting it really bad. The taxes were going up, and I had the interest rate that was really high at the time. Also, was into a recession, and so how you navigate that and still be successful, have a small successful business, right? He can't tell you that. And I'm talking about Trump, a billionaire, can't tell you that. He can't tell you how a person who don't have come from nothing can actually, make something out of that nothing. I would love to have a small loan of $2 million to get started. That's not the same. So again, you come from a home of privilege. So again, I can go on and on and on about that, but I'm saying is I'm going to try to do these live streams again. And it was really difficult on the campaign trail, as well as trying to take care of my son things. So I just had to do that hustle and bustle again. It was really hard mentally too, you guys. I've been doing this for almost 5 years now, and I haven't taken a vacation still to this day. Y'all probably hear me say this when I was doing my son's stuff. Haven't been on a vacation yet. Almost 5 years. Haven't, like, when I say a vacation, haven't been. I'm an ocean person. Everybody that knows me know I love to be around water, and I haven't put my foot in the ocean over those years. And so eventually, when I think all of this pay off, because hey, we're doing something great, right? And so I kind of put all those things first above myself, because again, when you're running for office, when you're in the military, same thing. You're doing something bigger than yourself, right? You put yourself in a place that a lot of people would never ever do. People don't see it that way, so that's why I say I don't. Again, I want to put up front. I don't try to take away from any candidate why they're running, what their real reasons are. I only can speak for myself, and then what I kind of can see from outside looking in. I'm not talking about individual person. When I say, oh, these lawyers coming in, and that's all we got. A whole bunch of lawyers do nothing. And their field has nothing. What they're lawyers for has nothing to do with certain. We have one gentleman again. When I brought that bankruptcy attorney up, he's a bankruptcy attorney. What the hell to do with crafting law about your life? Saying he's not gonna he's not gonna know anything about. I'm using example. Crafting legislation for missing Americans, like I have done, because he don't know anything about that type of thing. So right, so and so I was able to do that as a person don't know anything about law. You go and teach yourself certain things, and you can just do it. I introduced that bill to Senator Ott here in South Carolina, and he was really like, "Wow, you did really good," and I was starting that off, and I did it myself. When I had to give it to him in his office. And so I'm saying is, anyone of you all can craft legislation. By the way, you don't have to be, you can't introduce it. That's the reason why I had to give it to Senator. He had to be the one. He's the senator. I'm not the senator. He has to introduce it. I can write it, but he had to introduce it. But once I become a congressman myself, when I take this bill to U.S. Congress, I can introduce it myself. The other bills I have, I can introduce those myself. And so here I am coming in, starting with Joe Wilson. He's been there for 25 years, and I'm hearing only did one. He ever wrote one bill in 25 years. I don't know. It could be not accurate. Could be accurate, not. But let's say he wrote 5 bills in 25 years. I have 3 bills, and I haven't even got in office yet. So you can see these guys, they could be in office and they tell you all these promises every time election cycle come around. And then somehow we believe them. And every year we do, every time, less time they come. And then that's why you got the wiser people like, why even bother? We get the same thing all the time. Yeah, because we keep putting those same people in office. And we keep re-electing them for whatever reason. It's because I'm going to keep voting for because I'm a Democrat. Or I'm going to keep voting for because I'm a Republican. Like, no, really think about what they have done with that time you kept putting them in. Do they really have done anything to change your state of your life? Did they introduce some new bill or did something that can better your life or better a situation? I mean, I'm just thinking about that. You know, this look at those people who's in office and say like, I don't want to keep them in there because of their name or something. And we have some. I mean, I'm going on both parties, all parties. We have some names up there. You start looking at their record and what they're doing. You be like, why people keep voting them in? I mean, you just like their name or something, or they get on TV and start talking all this great stuff and yelling and calling, say, yeah, they doing this and pointing out all the bad stuff they do, but you ain't showing no solution about trying to at least try to change the situation other than your words. So again, I'll say we have to really try to look at these candidates, and I think it starts from the root again. For all these people I've met on the campaign trail who are actually running, and they got kicked out, believe it or not, because they couldn't get their name on the ballot because they just couldn't afford $3,480. If and I say this all the time because it's stuck in my head because I know the struggles of coming up with $3,480 just to get your name on the ballot. Or if you had to get 10,000 signatures, or if I was running for senator again, for U.S. senator, I think it's like $12,000. You know, could you imagine a retired military guy want to pull out $12,000 just to put his name on it, just to put you don't get that money back, win or lose, just to put your name on the ballot. You got to get 12,000 something dollars to put your name on the ballot to run for office. Like, why is that? That's not what the Constitution says, and so you got to start asking those kind of questions. Why they have a system like that, and that is to eliminate. That's why we have these attorneys, do nothing attorneys running for office, and the only thing they're doing, they say, "Man, I'm running for office, and my law firm is growing." Because they look at that person, oh, that person runs for office, and this law firm, I'm gonna go to this attorney. I mean, that's advertising for them. They're building a portfolio. I am in law school or something. It has nothing to do with being a representative of the United States. It has nothing to do with being a president. Trump is not an attorney. Has nothing to do with running for office. And we get all tripped up into these titles and get tripped up into this imagery, and then we get the same result. So again, thank you everyone for joining in. Please join in on my live streams. Join in my town hall again. I will be counseling the town hall because I have to, and it's every Friday. Baptist Town Hall is every Friday. Democrat, Republican, Independent, everyone is every Friday at 6:00 p.m. But today, I will not be able to do the town hall because I will be, doing the debate tonight. That can kind of taking precedence because I want to make sure I be there. I have to be present. I can't do both at the same time. And that came up. The party decided to have it on that day, on Friday, today. And so I'll be doing that this evening. So you can join in again with me if you want to watch that. It's virtual. It'll be Soda City Dems. You can look up mobilize.us and look up Soda City Dems. And it's virtual, so you can do it from your home, watch, hear the candidates, hear myself. Talk about our vision and things like that. I think we have 10 minutes at that to talk. I'm a talker, so we have a little time to, kind of discuss our vision and our thought. You want to get in contact with my campaign, you go davidrobinsoncongress.com to donate, but you also can contact me right here on the bottom of the screen, contact at davidrobinsonforcongress.com. That's contact at davidrobinsonforcongress.com. And also you can text or call me and get in contact with me directly or the campaign. And so thank you so much for everyone for joining on the live stream again. I'm David Robinson, Democratic candidate for South Carolina Congressional District 2, putting people over parties. Definitely want to represent. So again, I need your support. I need to win this primary, regardless of them changing the mapping. And again, lastly, if they finish what they're doing with this mapping, they're trying to push the primaries. So y'all be aware of this. Primaries normally, it would have been June 9th. And we're waiting. I think they're going to probably be finished today, waiting to find out what's going to happen because they're trying to push the primary all the way to August. So if that happens, I will be still on the campaign trail, but not as roughly. And maybe I can finally get some type of break. And I can focus on also on some things with my son. But you get the campaign we kind of pick back up. I think probably sometime in the summer because August is a long way from here. I still will be coming, trying to knock on doors. I still be trying to do some things here online so people know I'm running. The issue is we're trying to figure out is that are we going to get out $3,480 back, or how that's going to work towards this new um, primary date if it's pushed. So those kind of things are up in the air and questions that a lot of candidates are asking about. Because again, that's not easy money to come by from anyone unless you're, some high dollar person who throw millions of dollars or this and that on your campaign. So again, thank you again, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day. Day Rouse of Congress. Thanks so much and take care of yourself. You'll see me again. Take care.